can't believe you've done this. This is just terrible project. Why are you doing this? So over the last 10 months, I have been building a very, very interesting, unique, one-of-one Challenge Stradale Spider. When Ferrari launched the Challenge Stradale, they made it only as a coupe version. They then made the 430 Scuderia, the 16M, which was a convertible version of that, the 458 Speciale, the Aperta, which was the convertible version of that, and currently the Pista and the Pista Spider. In that lineup, they missed one key car, which was a Challenge Stradale Spider. So at great expense for a friend of mine, we are creating, or I have been for the last 10 months, I've just finished it, a Challenge Stradale Spider. And we're trying to do it exactly how Ferrari would have done it if they built it at Ferrari. We've gone to extremes to create things like stickers that says Challenge Stradale Spider, tyre stickers that instead of just Challenge Stradale, and things like the differences on the car, the rear deck lid, the carbon parts in there we have changed to the Spider, but we've done it in the same weave pattern that Ferrari would have done. But part of that deal for me was not only building it, but also being able to buy back and have the Frankenstein car, what we call the donor Challenge Stradale, that we used to take the majority of parts off to create this unique Challenge Stradale Spider. The reason we used the donor car was we worked out roughly, if you could get the parts, how much it would cost to buy them. So we paid, this was probably about a year ago, again the prices have jumped slightly. It was, let's say sub 150,000 euros for the donor car, the silver Challenge Stradale. If we tried to just buy the parts, not the complete car, so we're talking about wheels, all the carbon bits, the brake system, all the unique bits that create the Challenge Stradale, you are probably talking, if they had them in stock, over £200,000 to buy it. For example, brake system, so the rotors, the pads, £20,000. The door cards, £4,000 each. The dash cluster, £15,000. Mirrors, a lot of money. So it adds up very quickly, but mainly you can't even get them anymore anyway. Ferrari don't produce them, and the second-hand market, everybody knows the value of these parts, so they just keep going up, 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 and up. So it was cheaper to buy a complete car. Most people did not understand, they did not like the fact that I was taking one of these 1300 rare cars, taking it off the road, and using it for this project. At some point, actually about 3 videos, we've done probably about 10 videos on this, and the audience really were not with me on it. But then they saw it come out of the spray booth. We changed the color on this Spider to Rosso Scuderia, which was only a color offered on the Stradale. It wasn't offered actually on the Modnas or the Spider cars. We also put the factory stripe in there correctly under the lacquer. We've done it all perfect as Ferrari would have done it. And at some point, about 10 videos in, the audience were then transformed. They were with me on it. It was just incredible to see those comments suddenly come from, all these negative things. Can't believe you've done this. This is just terrible project. Why are you doing this? To like, wow, suddenly I get it. This is amazing. This is a beautiful car. Other people might want to do it. I'm never going to do it again, by the way. There was a lot of head scratching moments on this one to figure out how to fix some of the things. There were a lot of things that we discovered within the build that were not expected. For example, Ferrari put extra floor strengthening on the Spiders than they did on the coupes. So on the Stradale, they stripped out all of the carpets, all the sound deadening on the Strads to save weight. So when we come to do that on the Spider, they just had rubber mats on the Stradale. But when we took all the carpets up, started to strip out all the floor deadening, you had suddenly all of these extra strengthening bars in the front. So we're like, well, how are we going to do that? How are we going to make that look factory? What would Ferrari have done? So on those situations, we then thought, okay, why don't we use elements of the 430 Scuderia Spider, the 16M, where they had these lovely kind of corrugated iron, looks like floor plates. So we bought some of those, again, not cheap. I had to make a few modifications to get those to sit correctly in it. And again, something you look at and you think, oh, that's going to take me a couple of hours. It ends up taking you a week to get it right. And then because you do that, other things then don't fit. Everything else is raised up. So like I say, never again. Not on one. Again, we looked at it, and obviously this was a two-way discussion how I would do it with the owner of the car who commissioned me to do it. And so there was a lot of discussion how we should do it. There were things like the roll hoops. Again, we looked at where the difference is between the two cars. Obviously, the Stradale doesn't have the roll hoops. So how do we do that? What's the correct way of doing it? And we looked at the 16M. And on the 16M, you got the same roll hoops, but the way they covered them on the Spider, it's just normally covered in leather. On the 16M, it's half leather or half Alcantara and half carbon. So we wanted to do that, and we were prepared to spend the money on it. And this is where it comes down to Ferrari not producing the parts. We looked everywhere in the world. I had Ferrari searching for these for me, but we just could not get hold of them. But then when we actually started doing it, we painted the car. The black leather actually worked really well. It worked with all the carbon mirrors, all the carbon bits that we put on there. So it really worked perfectly in the end. And really the final element on this one was, what do we do at the back of the car? Obviously on the back we've got the lovely Challenge grille, we've got Challenge Stradale, but we've created something different. So I asked the audience, what do we do? Challenge Stradale, and then we use the same font and put Spider at the bottom. And well, we had mixed reviews on this one, so I decided we're just going to leave it to the new custodian of the car. It's up to him at the end. So we've got the option, we can create the badge if we need to, but I like the Challenge Stradale. It just looks nice with Challenge Stradale, so we've left it at that at the moment.
It's Car Trek time again. This week we're releasing our 8th Car Trek series on Freddie's channel thanks to Auto Tempest's continued support. Auto Tempest is honestly where I start most of my days looking for the next car to fill a vacant spot in the garage, or not a vacant spot in the garage just because I'm always looking anyway. But it is the most powerful tool to shop for your next car. They allow you to search all the major listing sites at the same time, even Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist on a national level, which you can't do on their own site. So it's a super cool thing. And they've been an amazing supporter of VINwiki over the years, so please right now check them out at the link in the description below to thank them for their support of Car Trek, VINwiki, so that we can keep having this much fun.